On May 16, a secret phone call between Pope Leo XIV and President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso stunned the world, but what was said that brought the president to tears? Join us on Courageous Voices as we uncover this deeply moving story. That morning, Pope Leo XIV began his day in prayer and reflection, but soon his routine was interrupted by a special request. "Bring me detailed reports on Burkina Faso," he said. The Pope wanted to understand more about the country and its young leader, Ibrahim Traoré, who has been guiding his nation through challenging times since 2022. Though Burkina Faso faces many difficulties, Traoré's message has often focused on hope, resilience, and spiritual renewal. One speech in particular caught the Pope's attention. In a public address, President Traoré said, "Our people are strong but wounded. Before we rebuild bridges and schools, we must restore faith in ourselves. Dignity is not given, it is born within us." The Pope was deeply moved by this message. "This young man carries something special," Leo XIV told his closest advisors. "He is not just a leader, he is a sign of hope. I must speak with him." On the other side of the world, President Traoré was concluding a meeting on food security and infrastructure projects, his days filled with efforts to improve the lives of his people. That afternoon, he received a discreet message from the Vatican Nunciature. The Holy Father wished to speak with him personally. Surprised by the invitation, Traoré accepted. This was no formal diplomatic conversation, it was a personal connection. Curious about what happens when two powerful leaders share a moment of faith? Stay tuned, because this story on Courageous Voices is about to get even more inspiring. At 4:30 p.m. Rome time, the encrypted call was made, no cameras, no intermediaries, just two men united by faith and hope. Sources close to the conversation say the Pope spoke not of politics or power, but of the soul. Leo XIV spoke of Traoré's humble beginnings, his devotion to his people, and quoted a passage from the book of Isaiah, "The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in the land of deep darkness, on them has light shone." At that moment, according to palace insiders, President Traoré was overcome with emotion. He bowed his head, closed his eyes, and fell silent. Then, wiping his eyes, he wept. After the call ended, Traoré remained alone in the room for over an hour. Later that evening, he ordered the reopening of the small chapel inside the presidential palace, a place that had not been used for many months. The exact words of that conversation remain private, but its impact is clear. In a world often divided by conflict and hardship, the simple act of listening and compassion may be a sign of hope, a modern miracle. On May 16, following the unprecedented call from Pope Leo XIV, the words exchanged between the two leaders began to echo far beyond the walls of the Vatican and the presidential palace of Burkina Faso. Inside the quiet room where the call took place, Pope Leo XIV spoke with a tenderness and clarity rarely seen in public discourse. He opened by acknowledging the weight of leadership in such challenging times. "President Traoré," the Pope said, "your journey is one of courage, but also of faith. It is faith that sustains the soul when the road is hardest. I have watched how you carry the hopes of your people, not with force alone, but with a heart open to mercy and truth." He continued, reminding Traoré of the power that lies within a leader who embraces humility. "True strength is born from love and service. The light you seek for your nation shines brightest when you nurture the spirit of your people. Do not lose sight of this sacred trust." Pope Leo XIV then recited a passage from the Psalms, one that spoke of renewal and hope in the darkest hours. "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." At this moment, the president's composure faltered. The weight of his responsibilities, the sacrifices made, and the profound loneliness of leadership surfaced as tears quietly streamed down his face. The Pope's voice softened. "You are not alone, Ibrahim. There is a global family that holds you in prayer and solidarity. Your sacrifices inspire more than you know." Traoré, regaining his voice, shared his own struggles, speaking of the heavy burden of guiding a nation through uncertainty and fear. He spoke of his desire to heal wounds, to build peace, and to foster unity among all his people. The Pope listened intently, then assured him, "In moments of doubt, lean on your faith. Let it be a beacon for both you and your people. Trust that God walks beside you every step of the way." As the call drew to a close, the mood had shifted from solemnity to renewed hope. The two leaders exchanged blessings, a silent vow to continue the work of peace and compassion. The impact of this conversation reached far beyond that room. Within Burkina Faso, word spread quietly among trusted circles about the Pope's message of encouragement and spiritual support. For many, it became a symbol that even in the face of hardship, hope remains alive. That night, President Traoré's decision to reopen the chapel at the presidential palace is seen by many as a profound gesture, a sign that faith and leadership can walk hand in hand toward a brighter future. This story is far from over. What lies ahead will test both men and the nations they represent, but the message of that call remains clear: faith, hope, and compassion can light the way through even the darkest times. Want to know how this moment reshaped a nation? Don't miss the incredible changes coming next on Courageous Voices. In the days following the poignant call between Pope Leo XIV and President Ibrahim Traoré on May 16, subtle but profound changes began to unfold within Burkina Faso's leadership and society. Back in Ouagadougou, those close to the president noticed a shift. Traoré, who had always been known for his firm resolve and determination, now carried a new calmness, a deeper sense of purpose that went beyond politics and strategy. In private moments, he often returned to the words spoken by the Pope, reminders of faith, hope, and the power of humility. The reopening of the chapel inside the presidential palace was more than symbolic. It became a sanctuary not only for Traoré but for his closest advisors and staff, a quiet place to reflect and seek guidance amidst the pressures of governance. In public addresses following the call, Traoré's tone softened, revealing a leader who embraced vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness. He spoke openly about the importance of unity and spiritual renewal in healing the wounds of the nation. We are called not only to rebuild our land but to restore the spirit of our people. Faith can guide us through darkness, and hope can ignite the flame of a better tomorrow. Within Burkina Faso, the message resonated with many citizens, particularly those in rural communities who found renewed encouragement in the idea that their struggles were seen and their hopes shared by the highest levels of leadership and faith. International observers noted this transformation as well. Diplomats and humanitarian workers remarked on the president's renewed openness to dialogue and collaboration with diverse faith groups and community leaders. Meanwhile, the Vatican quietly celebrated this spiritual milestone. The Pope's message, delivered with compassion and wisdom, had touched a heart willing to listen. Behind closed doors, high-ranking church officials discussed the call as a model of how faith and leadership could unite to foster peace and resilience in troubled regions. Yet the challenges ahead remained immense. Burkina Faso continues to face economic hardships, security concerns, and social divisions. But the path forward, illuminated by that intimate exchange, carried a new hope. The conversation between Pope Leo XIV and President Traoré revealed something universal: even in the highest offices, human hearts seek connection, understanding, and grace. As we continue to follow this story, the question remains: how will this moment of profound empathy shape the future of Burkina Faso and inspire leaders around the world? In the days and weeks after the historic call on May 16, the people of Burkina Faso began to sense a change in their leader, a change that inspired hope and unity in a time when both are desperately needed. President Ibrahim Traoré's renewed dedication to faith and service became evident in his actions. He launched initiatives aimed at not only rebuilding infrastructure but also strengthening community ties and encouraging dialogue among the diverse religious and ethnic groups of the nation. During a nationally broadcast address, Traoré reflected on the message he received from Pope Leo XIV. In moments of hardship, we must remember that our greatest strength lies in our unity and our shared faith. The Pope's words reminded me that leadership is a sacred duty to serve with humility, courage, and love. This message resonated deeply with Burkinabe citizens. Community leaders, religious figures, and youth organizations began to organize joint events focused on reconciliation, education, and spiritual renewal. In schools and villages, faith-based initiatives were revitalized, helping people find peace amidst uncertainty. The international community took notice. Diplomatic circles praised the symbolic power of the Pope's call, highlighting it as an example of spiritual leadership influencing political courage. Church leaders across Africa expressed support, emphasizing the importance of prayer and solidarity in the region's pursuit of peace. Closer to the Vatican, the Holy See reaffirmed its commitment to supporting nations through spiritual guidance and diplomatic outreach. Despite the ongoing challenges, security concerns, economic struggles, and social tensions, Burkina Faso's new atmosphere of hope and faith offered a beacon for its people. In private conversations, President Traoré acknowledged the lasting impact of the Pope's message on his personal resolve and leadership style. He shared with close advisors that the call was a turning point, reminding him that he was never alone in his mission. The ripple effect of that moment extended beyond borders, sparking conversations worldwide about the transformative power of compassion and faith in governance. As the story unfolds, it stands as a testament to how empathy between leaders can inspire a nation's path to healing and unity. Since that historic day, May 16, when Pope Leo XIV's voice touched the heart of President Ibrahim Traoré, something changed, not only in the leader, but throughout Burkina Faso. In the days that followed, Traoré deepened his commitment to unite his country, focusing not only on physical rebuilding, but on restoring the spirit of his people. Reopening the presidential chapel was just the first sign of a deeper transformation, rediscovering faith as a foundation for peace and progress. In public speeches and meetings with religious and community leaders, Traoré spoke with renewed calm and conviction. He inspired hope by emphasizing, "Every challenge we face is an opportunity to grow together and strengthen our shared humanity. When we embrace faith and solidarity, no adversity is greater than our desire for peace." Within the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV closely followed these hopeful signs. In a message sent shortly after the call, he wrote to the president, "May the Lord strengthen and illuminate your path." What we have witnessed is not just leadership of a head of state, but the courage of a shepherd of souls. The impact of their exchange spread far beyond Burkina Faso. Across Africa, the Pope's gesture and the president's heartfelt response sparked renewed conversations between spiritual and political leaders. Movements emphasizing hope, unity, and faith in governance began to emerge. In interviews, Traoré reflected on how that call changed him. "That conversation reminded me that despite pressures and hardships, we are never truly alone. The strength that comes from faith can turn even the darkest moments into light." Burkina Faso continues to face challenges like any nation striving for stability and growth, but today, there is something new in the air, a renewed belief in true change, a change that comes from the heart, guided by hope and faith. Meanwhile, in the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV continues his quiet work, ever attentive to calls from around the world. The call with Ibrahim Traoré has become a symbol of empathy's power and the profound impact of listening with compassion. This story reminds us all that even in our darkest moments, the light of hope can shine through small but profound acts, and that leaders who answer the call of the heart can build bridges where walls once stood. Months have passed since that unforgettable conversation on May 16, yet its reverberations continue to shape Burkina Faso and inspire leaders worldwide. President Ibrahim Traoré, deeply transformed by the Pope's message, has taken steps not only in policy but in spirit. His administration has launched programs that blend social development with spiritual renewal. Community centers now include spaces for dialogue, prayer, and healing. These initiatives aim to strengthen not just the nation's infrastructure, but the very fabric of its society: trust, empathy, and shared purpose. Young people in particular have embraced this new vision. Schools across the country have incorporated lessons on peacebuilding and faith, fostering a generation that values unity over division. In interviews, youth leaders speak of renewed hope. "We feel seen. Our leaders are not just speaking to us, but with us." The message from the Pope to President Traoré gave us courage to believe in a better future. Beyond Burkina Faso, the ripple effect is evident. Faith communities and political leaders from neighboring countries have reached out to collaborate, inspired by the power of empathy and leadership. At international forums, Traoré has spoken openly about the importance of compassion and faith in governance, urging global leaders to remember the human element behind every decision. In the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV has expressed his hopes that this spirit of dialogue and understanding will continue to grow, offering a model for how spiritual and political leadership can unite to face the world's greatest challenges. This ongoing story is a powerful reminder that leadership is more than policy. It is a call to serve with heart, to listen deeply, and to nurture hope in the face of adversity. As Burkina Faso steps forward into this new chapter, the legacy of that May 16 call lives on, a beacon of light that continues to inspire courage, compassion, and a shared belief in a peaceful tomorrow. As Burkina Faso moves forward, the profound connection between Pope Leo XIV and President Ibrahim Traoré remains a guiding light for the nation and beyond. The call on May 16 was more than a conversation, it was a spark igniting a movement of faith, hope, and unity in a world too often divided by uncertainty and conflict. President Traoré's leadership, now deeply intertwined with the spiritual wisdom shared by the Pope, continues to inspire initiatives that heal wounds and build bridges between communities. His emphasis on faith as a foundation for peace has encouraged open dialogue among diverse groups, fostering mutual respect and understanding. At international gatherings, Traoré speaks passionately about the role of empathy and compassion in governance. True leadership listens first to the heart, then to the voice of the people. When we lead with humility and faith, we create lasting peace within. In Burkina Faso, the renewed spirit is evident in daily life. Communities that once felt isolated are now connected through shared rituals of hope and resilience. Religious leaders and civil society partners work hand in hand to nurture this growing culture of unity, proving that faith and governance can coexist to uplift a nation. Meanwhile, Pope Leo XIV continues his mission of spiritual outreach, encouraging leaders worldwide to embrace the power of compassion. The story of that intimate call serves as a timeless reminder: leadership grounded in empathy and faith can transform even the most difficult journeys into paths of light. For Burkina Faso and the world, this is more than a story, it is a living testament to the strength of the human spirit and the hope that binds us all. Thank you for joining us on this journey on Courageous Voices. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that inspire and unite.